Welcome to my happy hamstring mobility flow, where we try to keep your hamstrings happy by targeting a lot of different areas in the hips and hamstrings. So first we're going to start with our belly on the ground. So we're going to go face down like so, and we're just going to start by doing a little bit of mobility for your low back. Because a lot of times hamstrings and low back will kind of be tight together. So we're going to start here, and we're going to do about 20 of these press-ups. You can go ahead and join in while you're watching. Definitely the best way to do it. Good. If you're somebody who's experienced hamstring and low back stiffness or pain together, go ahead and let me know in the comments. It happens surprisingly commonly, and I'd kind of like to put some awareness out about that one for people who may be suffering from hamstring pain and don't think the two are related. All right, so let's go from there, and then we're gonna go here. We're gonna keep ourselves in this like nice propped up position, kind of like you're reading a book here, and you're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do some hip flexor work. So go ahead, keep yourself here, and then just bring your foot back to your glutes. Hold it for a couple of seconds, then let it go. Static stretching hasn't proven to be as good, and static stretching is when you kind of just like let it hang here. So we're gonna go ahead and keep moving and make it a little bit more dynamic. Now, if you wanna make this more interesting, you can actually pull your leg back to your butt and make it a little bit more active, or resist yourself on the way back. So pull back and then resist a little bit. So pull the heel back to the butt and go ahead and push the ankle into your hand like this. Good. And that'll get your hip flexors nice and extra loose. You can do that little resistance trick with pretty much any stretch you try, and it'll help lengthen the muscle. So here we are. We just did our back mobility, then we did our hip flexor mobility. We're gonna go ahead and turn to the side. And the important thing about this one on the side is you're going to want to make sure that you keep your back in a neutral position. Don't round or curve through the low back. Just keep this nice and neutral. And you're going to go ahead and bring your knee up to your chest. Just like this. And that's going to stretch the hamstrings without involving the back this time. Because often putting the back in a rounded position is pretty dangerous. And that's why we're not going to do the traditional standing hamstring stretches, because often that encourages you to round your back. And like I said, oftentimes people with back pain will also have hamstring pain. So if you're one of those people that has that double duo, we just want to avoid the rounding. If you're not somebody that has back stiffness or pain, don't worry about the rounding part. We're just going to go ahead and bring the knee on up. Do this. Each of these do for about 10 to 20 reps. And then we're going to go ahead and lay on our back and go into a happy baby. So go ahead and bring the knees out to the side. And if you can, reach for the heels and pull them together and kind of let them go. And pull together and let them go. And you can kind of rock backwards and even pull your knees or your shins towards you if you're not flexible to reach for your heels, which, let's be honest, most of us aren't. So go ahead and do this, and if you want to, you can actually push up in this position with the hands push up into your hands with your legs for about 5 seconds. That makes it a little bit more effective than just doing a static stretch. And then again, we're gonna go ahead and bring the knee up to the chest. This actually might give you a nice little stretch in the hips as well. But if you go ahead and kind of bring the foot up a little bit and then bring it back, you're going to get a nice little stretch along the hamstrings too. And again, we're keeping that knee straight because we don't want to bend the back quite as much. There you go. And then we're going to end this last one with a nice little adductor stretch, because the adductors and the hamstrings actually mix together, and a few of the adductor and hamstring muscles will do functions of the other group. So for instance, we have adductor muscles that also function as hamstrings, and hamstrings that kind of function as adductor muscles. So we want to loosen those ones up too. And this one's pretty easy. You're just going to go ahead and take your knee, put your legs and feet wider than shoulder width, and then bring your knee as close to the ground as you can and come back up. A lot of people will only be able to get to about here, and that's fine. Just bring it as low as you can and then bring it back up. And then go ahead and switch to the other side. Hold it for about 2 seconds at the bottom. And this is one where you're just going to kind of keep moving from side to side. And that way we've targeted all the main areas that could impact the lower body and the hamstrings. So we've got low back, hips, adductors, hamstrings, and for the final one, we're going to do just your typical figure 4 glute stretch. So on your back, we're going to go ahead and bring your knee into your chest and go ahead and press a little bit out. So press, go ahead and get into your figure 4, hand around your knee, start bringing your knee towards your chest, but then once you bring it about halfway, I encourage you to press your knee actually into your hands to kind of activate the glutes a little bit, and then do the same, bring it in, activate the glutes, and just do 5 to 10 reps of this on each side. And with that, we've covered all the main areas, and you should be feeling a lot more loose and ready to go for your run or your cycle or your lift or whatever it is that moves you. So have a happy hamstring day.